Coming up on today's video, we're going to organize, refresh, and declutter our master closet. Now, this is a small space, but boy, can it get cluttered very quickly. So join me today and we will tackle this project together. Hey friends, welcome back to Simply Home and Harvest. My name is Jen, and if you're new here, welcome. We do a lot of videos, especially videos from the home and garden. But today, specifically, we are in our master bedroom closet, and I have decided that it is time to clean and organize this closet. It's something that I've been putting off for a long time, and I just decided the other day I'm tired of tripping over shoes and things falling down on my head and not being able to get my clothes in and out, and it's just time to make a change. So this video has been taken over several days, and you will see how we got in there and just got to work. You'll see how this project really did turn into a little bit more than what I had anticipated. Don't they always, or especially in my case? But I am super thrilled with the way everything has turned out. It's been about a week since I finished the project, and it has made my life so much more enjoyable and easy. And don't we all need a little bit of easy? So let me encourage you, if you have been putting off a project like a closet clean out, don't put it off any longer. You can do it. Take little chunks of time. Use, the time that you have. If it takes you a few weeks, do something a little bit every day. That's what I ended up doing. And get in there and just start getting rid of stuff. Start letting go of some stuff. There was stuff that I let go of that was from my high school days. And maybe even beyond, who knows, but it feels so much better. I feel so much lighter having let go of some of this stuff. Now I am gonna have to figure out what I want to do with it. At first I was thinking yard sale, now I'm not so sure anymore. So let me just show you what we started with, what we did through the process, and how we ended it. So sit back and enjoy this video today and be inspired to do this yourself. All right, here we go. All right, guys, here we go with this big project that I've been putting off, quite frankly, because I knew I wanted to include you in the project, but I'm a little embarrassed to let you see what the inside of our master closet looks like. Now, you can see it's located right behind the door to our bedroom, and we did remove the door from it a while back because when you open both doors, it would just get all tangled up. The doorknobs would lock within each other, and it was just a very difficult and annoying problem. So we removed the doors, put up a curtain, and you can see why we like to keep that curtain closed because it is a mess in here. And now, we have not done our part to keep it organized, but really it's just not functioning well with these bins that you can't really see what's in them, shoes that have probably past their prime, some need to be gotten rid of, and then just, kicking them to the bottom there and not putting them away properly. And then our hanger situation, because my husband and I both share this closet, we've got a lot of clothes in here. And of course, we could stand to get rid of some. And so I'll be doing that with my clothes, but you can see that everything is just kind of, you know, coming off the hangers, and just we're really having a hard time fitting it all in here efficiently. So we're going to work on that this week. We're going to transfer my clothes over to some velvet hangers. Tim wants to leave his like they are, but we'll do what we can with this space. But first of all, I thought it would be a lot easier if we just went ahead and removed our bedroom door, since we're going to be coming in and out of the space. And so, yeah, that opens it up a lot and will help us get our work done a little bit quicker. So here I am just removing the curtain. I haven't decided whether or not I'm going to put that back up, but here are all the clothes on the bed. Alex was so kind to help me with this project. He helped me empty everything out. And then you can just see it has taken over the bedroom here. All of the bags, all of the shoes, just a lot of miscellaneous stuff. We found a whole bunch of things we probably didn't even know we had. So here's what it looks like with everything removed, and you can see just over time it's just gotten dusty. The walls are scratched. That terrible eggshell color just needs to go so that we can freshen it up. And I'm betting that once we give it a nice fresh paint, a fresh coat of white, bright white paint, it's just going to brighten the space up and make it even easier to see what's in here. So that's going to be the first step. But first of all, we've got to remove all the shelving. And you can see that the top rod extends all the way across, but the bottom does not. And we left it like that so that we could hang that shoe organizer over there in the corner. And then also my dresses have to go up there because of the length. And when we moved into this house, the shelf was here. And so we cut some of the shelving to do just like shelves up higher on one side. And because we cut the shelves, it made them a little jagged on the edge. So you could see that I was using pencil erasers because I was getting cut so many times trying to reach things in the back of the closet. So we're going to fix that problem as well. But first, let's remove everything and get a nice fresh coat of paint on these walls. And we're going to clean up this bottom, which you can see just vacuuming the carpet in here. The carpet's still in great shape, but just vacuuming it, getting the corners, made it look so much better already. Now, the reason I'm using this paint is because we have used it in other areas of the house. You can see that can behind it. We had it stored in a building outside. Don't do that because it completely ruined the paint. And so I had to run to Home Depot and get another gallon, which was not cheap. My goodness, has paint gone up? Now, I do like to prepare my space. I put down a lot of cloths. I go ahead and run painter's tape, and I decided to go over some of the scratches with just a little bit of paint first before I rolled the walls. Now, if Tim was here, he'd probably say I did so many unnecessary things, but this is just the way my brain works. I want to make sure that I'm prepared so that I don't make a mess on the carpet, but also so that things maybe go a little bit smoother if we've already kind of treated those areas a little bit beforehand. All right, let me get this painted. All right, you guys, this is the first coat and all of the trim. You see that this wall is still drying a little, but everything has at least one coat. Some things have two. And, you know, if this was any other room, I would go back in and do a second coat on everything, including the trim. However, since this is a closet and this is the only wall that'll be exposed because the clothes are going back on this side, shelves are going on that side, I may do a second coat on this wall, but I haven't decided yet. Other than that, we are done. I will come back and paint this part once we're finished with everything, but we've got to get this bedroom back. All right, y'all, so this is our bed, but right now is not sleepable. So I'm going to move these piles of clothes somewhere else, probably to the den, because I do want to go through them, get rid of a lot. Like I said, all these shoes are leaving, and I'm hoping to get rid of a great deal of my clothing. Now, I can't touch any of Tim's stuff. He doesn't even want me to switch his hangers out, which is going to drive me crazy. I said, can I at least like sort things by type and kind of color code them, you know? And he's like, oh, don't waste your time. So I don't know. I'm trying not to mess with his side, you know, but still put everything back together and not go crazy. So, but obviously, you know, I'm not going to get rid of his stuff. That's his stuff to get rid of. But I can get rid of a lot of this stuff, I hope. We do have, like, I keep all seasons of clothing in my closet. I used to sort it out and do, like, you know, winter, fall clothing season, and I would store that, like, under the bed and just use the closet for the clothes that were in season. But one day I just decided that it was too much trouble to do that. So I started keeping everything in my closet. So that's why it looks like I have so many clothes, which I do. I have way too many. But that's why, because it's all seasons. So hopefully I can get rid of some stuff. And you know what? Alex and I were talking earlier. I didn't want y'all to have to stare at the clothes the whole time, but I really don't want you to have to stare at me either because I'm, you know, in paint mode. But what I was going to say is, you know, my husband and son, they probably wear 20% of their closet. But, you know, maybe ladies wear what, 50, 60% of ours. So we're going to find out. But I had like winter gloves and stuff that I hadn't seen in years back here in the back. Alex helped me clean it all out, and we got a good laugh at some of the stuff that was still in there. So I'm hoping that I can reduce this by a lot and get rid of some stuff. We also have drawers full of clothing, which is not happening anytime soon, but that will come. Well, I say anytime soon. That'll come in the next few weeks probably. Anyway, we can live on a whole lot less. All right, y'all. I have painted the last wall and trim. I did decide to touch up a few spots and do a second coat. I'm working on clearing the bed off. But I want you guys to see this real quick because I'm cleaning up all the paint stuff. I've got to start dinner. And I just wanted to give you one last look. Alex and Tim will probably help me get the rods back in here tonight. And I don't know if I'll film that. But we will come back tomorrow after I show you this real quick. And we'll continue our project. All right. So here it is with all its coats. You can definitely see the difference. They are still drying a little bit just like before. But definitely once it's dried, you'll be able to tell that it's got two coats. The camera really doesn't do it justice, but everything is done. Look at that nice empty space. I really don't want to put anything back in there. That's what Alex was saying. It's a shame we got to put stuff back in here. And it really is. All right, guys, we're back. It's day 2. And I wanted to show you that Tim did help me go ahead and get all of our rods back in. We got this back on the wall because I'm thinking we're going to go ahead and put the shelving part back up. And there's like brackets that come out, and we may replace the shelves that go right here. But we'll need these little hanger things to do that. So today's project is to switch out all of my clothes, of course I'm not touching Tim's, onto these new hangers. And let me show you what I got. So Tim told me last night that I have been influenced, and I guess I have. And if these are as good as everybody says they are, then you'll probably get influenced too. But I've been wanting, you know, to save some space in that closet. These velvet hangers are very popular, but they are expensive. And I found the best deal on these last week at Sam's Club. You get 50 in a pack for $10 and change. I'm going to add that clip in where I got them at Sam's, but I was impressed by that deal. And so I ended up getting 3 boxes. And so we're going to hope that we can fit 150 hangers in the closet. And really, my hope is that I only need maybe like 100. And I can take a box back, or I can talk Tim into transitioning his hangers over to these velvet hangers. So we'll see if they do what they say they're going to do. I do like the fact that, like I said, they're very thin, streamlined. They have the swivel hook at the top. And they're all one color. And they'll look good in there against the white, I'm hoping. So that's the plan. They did only have black. I saw online where you get like light pink or white, but black was the only option at our Sam's Club. So that's going to be the job, getting all of these clothes transitioned from the old hangers to the new ones. Now I've got piles of clothes in here in the den, which was the best solution. Here's a bag of shoes that I'm going to get rid of. And we have more over here. But we did have to sleep last night on our bed, so I had to get those off the bed. Anyway, I'm going to get them up off the floor, which the rug is clean. My plan is to go through the clothes as I'm transferring them onto the other hangers and just see if it's something I want. If I'm not wearing it, if I don't love it, it's time to let it go. I know you're probably like me. You have dresses and items hanging in your closet that have not touched your body in several years. And you think one day, maybe one day. And I mean, unless you wait a couple of decades, you know, if I kept all my clothes from the 90s, I'd be doing really good right now because all that stuff is back in style. But I probably wouldn't be able to fit into anything from the 90s. And that is probably going to be the case. So let go. It'll make you feel so much better. All right. I'm talking to myself. I hope I can do this, y'all. We'll see. So just like any project that I normally undertake, it got a little bit more complicated than I started out meaning for it to be. Like I just thought I would take everything out, reorganize it, put it back in one day. I did not intend to paint it, but I just had to. And I'm glad I did. It looks so much better. But this is taking days rather than hours. I did get Tim's clothes back up. So now I've got to kind of sort through mine, and I've divided them into like items. And so now we're going to get them into the closet. But y'all, it's going to be worth it. It's going to be so worth all this time and effort. We just got to hang in there. All right, y'all, it's day 3. I did run out and get some errands done this morning, but we are back now, and it's time to get back to this closet. I have to really try hard to focus because I get distracted by so many things. And Tim's always like, you wear me out. You got to concentrate on one project at a time, but I can't help it. I love dreaming and thinking about all the other things I can do after this. So anyway, I went out today looking for some clear containers to go on those baskets. I also wanted some sort of solution for the bottom underneath my clothes for Tim's shoes, and he only has like 4 pair. He's not like me. And like 3 of those 4 pair he never wears. So he told me, I don't care, a basket, something just to put them in. I really don't want things to be on the floor because it gets so dusty down there that I want to be able to just move those baskets out of the way and vacuum in there once a week and keep everything neat and tidy. That's my plan. So I wanted to get, what I set out to get was some sort of clear containers, like I said, because I want to be able to see what's in each one. But also I wanted some drawers, like the clear drawers that pull out, and then you could just like put a container on top of it. I did not see any that I really liked today that were in my price range. And I did have a budget. I did not want to exceed $50 on any of this because we already had to buy paint. We're trying to do all this on a budget. So I got some different options. I may end up keeping them all. I may take some back. I also want to get like some things to go on the wall to like hang the hats perhaps, and belts, and maybe something to hold my jewelry organizer. So that is probably an expense I'm gonna have to make. I didn't really see anything while I was out. The only thing I've seen that I felt like I could use and that would work the way I want it to work is on Amazon. So I'll probably have to order off Amazon. However, I did run to Hobby Lobby, and they had their, I think it's called Nook and Company. They had some options for like storage and organizational things. So I may go back there and pick up some items if, I can't wait until Monday to get them. But probably gonna end up having to use Amazon. All right, here's what I got. So first up, I stopped by Bealls. And the reason I did that was because that's Bealls. We don't really know how to pronounce it, but it's spelled Bealls. So if you have one of those in your area, check out their items because they have a lot of things that are a little bit more affordable, kind of like a Marshalls or a TJ Maxx, but you really have to look the item over. A lot of times they'll only have one of it and it might be broken, and so it could be discounted even more because it's missing a piece. But I had heard someone say that pantry organizers work really well for like closet organizers because they're made out of a sturdier plastic and they hold up longer. They're more durable. So I went with that in mind, and these are actually pantry organizers, but it's funny, they're called pantry organizers, but you see there on the picture that it's like a belt and some clothes. You can clearly see that someone's using these in their closet. I love the size of them, although I'm not sure about the depth. I'm hoping that they will be deep enough, and now that I put them up against the ones I got somewhere else, I like them just the same. So we'll see. We may end up keeping all these. Like I said, if we have too many, we'll just take them back. But can't we always use some clear bins? I mean, we'll find a use for these in other rooms. But you could stack them. They've got like the little corners where you could stack them on something else, like a drawer that pulls out, which is what I was hoping. There might not be enough space for it anyway, but I got 2 of these. They were two for $9.99, which I thought was pretty good when compared to others like on Amazon and in other stores. So I got 2 of these, and I wanted to go ahead and get the 2 that they had. They only had 2 sets, just in case I didn't find anything else. However, when I went to Marshalls, I did find some that were a little bit deeper, but I wasn't sure if they would fit in the space. I thought they might be too tall, but we went ahead and got them anyway, just think if we could take them back if we need to. So these were a set of 2. And you can see they're a lot deeper, a lot larger. It gives you an idea there on how to use it. You could actually use these under the shelves, which will also have that option. And that's what I was thinking. Well, I could put these underneath where the shoes are. So that would work too. But these were 2 for $14.99. So a little bit more than the ones at Bealls, but they are larger. And then I found these all banged up at Marshall's. And they were $12.99 for 2 of them. This is a pretty large basket, but I love the color of them. They still look very breathable, like you could, you know, put shoes in them, perhaps, since they're breathable, because shoes need to breathe, right? Especially my husband's shoes. Don't tell him I said that. So these will be perfect to, you know, go down below my clothes for shoes, or, you know, sheets. Maybe I thought about storing our bed sheets in here. The sky's the limit. The fun part is going to be seeing if all this works. All right, let's take it in there and play a little. Oh, friends, they look amazing. Fit perfectly. I think I'm going to be keeping all of them. And of course, I kept them in there 2-packs. So just imagine we have one here and one here and one on the top shelf and then one here. And then look at these. How perfect they fit under the shelf. And then, of course, we have all this space under here. And I was thinking we could even use bigger baskets if we wanted, but I could go back and get more of these. And I don't know if you can see how perfect they just slide in there. We could almost use like 6 of them. And I love the idea that you can pull the basket out, get what you need, put it back. It stays so neat through here. No longer will I be tripping over shoes. I'm going to get to work figuring out what goes in all these bins. And once we figure it all out, I'm going to bring you back, show you the finished product, and then we will be done and time to move on to my next thing. Don't tell Tim. All right, you guys, and drum roll, please. Here is the final product. Now, I've been living with this for about a week. And it has made my life so much easier. No frustration trying to find where things are. In fact, this has just inspired me to keep going. And a few days ago, I cleaned out all of my jewelry in my jewelry box. And we cleaned out the bedroom and all the drawers. And maybe I'll show you that, even though I don't have a before. But let's just, let's stick with the project at hand, which is the closet. So let me just show you up close. Here are the bins that we bought. And I was able, like, up at the top are like undergarments, Spanx, things like that. Then I've got leggings in this one. And then down below it, I've got like shorts, like athletic shorts, and like the shorts, leggings. I guess they have a name. And then I've got this drawer that is still empty, which how awesome is that? I still haven't decided what I want to put in it yet. But I picked up these drawers at Hobby Lobby. They are part of, oh gosh, what is Nook & Company, I think is the brand on that. And then you all saw me get the other bins, but I got 2 of those, and 2 were perfect because they were able to fit in these 2 spaces right here. But like up at the top, I didn't have enough space there between the 2 shelves. So I really only could use 2. And I like having the empty space because I'm not quite done yet organizing like toiletries and things. And I think that's what I'm going to use this one for. I thought about, there was one particular thing I thought about. I can't remember what it is now. But anyway, I just decided to keep it in a drawer, whatever it was. So this one is just tank tops and then scarves. And then in the drawer here, I've got like curling iron, flat iron, and then this is the rubber mat that protects your furniture. Just because I really only use those like maybe once a week for church. And so I knew that this would be a great place to keep them. And then we've got right here, I've got my little handy dandy picker upper, extra arm. I don't know, what is it called? Like an extendo arm or something. To get like when I always drop an earring underneath furniture or something, or beside furniture, I can pick it up with that. Being perfectly right here on the shelf as long as I don't buy any more. But I've got my shoe organizer back here that I was able to keep, and that's helped a lot with like sandals and you know, some of my smaller shoes that aren't as bulky, like sneakers and boots and stuff. I did order these hat hooks off of Amazon. I will link them below. They were so easy to install. In fact, you could use the screws to install them directly into the wall, or you could use this like piece of adhesive, which I did one of each. Then they had little screws there to place over the top. And then this one, I'll show you at the top, if I can reach the hat. That one we did straight up and down. And then your hats can just hook there on the post, except for if you have one like Tim's that doesn't have a hole in it, and I have to just toss it up there. Okay, there we go. But those came in handy. So originally I thought maybe I'll hang necklaces from this, but I really didn't have a lot of necklaces, and I figured, you know, they would kind of get in the way. It's also going to be nice, like if I want to hang my purse in here. Normally I keep it close to the front door, but like if we're having company coming over or something and I want to put the purse somewhere else, I can hang my current purse there. So I was happy to keep it open for that reason. And then I've got bins here underneath, and that's just holding like some extra makeup, some purses that I'm not currently using. Here's my little step stool that I could slide easily underneath the shelf there. And then I've just got baskets. It's just like miscellaneous stuff. I think there's one back there with like winter wear, like hats and heavy scarves. It's hard to see every little nook and cranny. And then I've got two baskets here that I use for Tim's shoes. And so he doesn't have that many shoes, so those baskets were perfect. I'm kind of wedged in here, but hopefully you can see that. Let me back up. All right, so here's a much better angle. So you can see the baskets. I was hoping to get some more of the matching gray baskets there, but you really can't tell. You know, who's going to get down here on the floor and look? So I was able to pick up another white basket at Hobby Lobby. And then most of like other baskets that I used back in that deep corner, I already had. So I did do a few upgrades just because I wanted to have like the clear bins. I thought it'd be a whole lot easier to see what I have inside and get dressed. And so far, so good. But look at the floor space that we've gotten back. How nice is that? And so far, I'm enjoying these hangers. I will tell you that it takes a little bit longer to do laundry and to like put up your clothing items, just because these hangers, you know, being that they're velvet, it takes a little bit longer to get your clothing onto the hanger, but it doesn't move around. It doesn't fall off. Nothing has fallen to the floor yet. Like it was always the case for the plastic hangers. And so far, so good. Everything's fitting in there nicely. So I'm a fan of the velvet hanger so far. Like I said, we're only a week in, and I didn't do anything different to Tim's side of the closet, except for, you know, I mean, I used the plastic hangers, but I did try to like organize it better, which he said he didn't care. So I'm going to let him do his own thing. But y'all, I am super happy with the way this closet turned out. We do have plans to finish painting and maybe repaint our bedroom, which you can see this is the color of it now. And so I'm thinking maybe to do something a little lighter, perhaps. But anyway, I'll give you a little sneak peek, you know, of what's to come. So we might do something. We might brighten it up in here. I don't know. I've already made a few changes. So stay tuned for that. All right, you guys, well, that is all for this video. Thank you so much for hanging in there with me through this, what seems like very long process. I tried to speed it up as much as possible for you all. And like I said, we're gonna keep going. In fact, these are a couple of the stools that are like storage stools that I took out of the bedroom. They've been sitting here on this bench along with some other totes because we've got some stuff that we want to move to either more permanent storage, or I'm thinking that Alex is going to get these and we're going to do some different things in his room. So I don't know if we'll record that, but that's to come. I had actually thought about having a family yard sale. And so I texted the family, hey, save this date, let's do a yard sale. And then after really thinking about it, I don't know if I want to go through all that hassle. It's so hard to do a yard sale. So I might try to put some things up on Facebook Marketplace and just let the rest go because I don't want it back. And like I said, do we really have time for a yard sale? So stay tuned for that. Maybe some more organizational projects in the near future. It's a busy time of year, you know, so we'll do what we can, but I will definitely see you soon with something. So stay tuned for that. And in the meantime, remember to live simply, use what you have, enjoy the moments you've been given, and I'll see you all very soon.